The house was too quiet after he died, until the night my son's touch set my skin on fire. His hands weren't a boy's anymore. His gaze held promises no son should make, and when his lips finally claimed mine in the darkness, I knew we'd crossed a line we could never uncross. The world would call it forbidden, but as his body pressed against me, whispering secrets more intoxicating than grief, I stopped caring about rules, because some desires burn too hot to ignore, and ours was about to consume us both. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. Your precious time is very important for me. The house felt too quiet after Michael passed away. Every tick of the clock echoed like a reminder that he wasn't coming back. I had lived in that big suburban home for over 14 years, raising our only son, Liam, and building a life filled with routines, holiday dinners, and movie nights curled under the same blanket. Now the walls felt like strangers. The silence was unbearable. Liam had just turned 21. He was always a sweet kid, gentle, observant, more in tune with feelings than most boys his age. After Michael died, Liam put his life on pause. He deferred his final year of college to stay with me. First I protested, but truthfully I needed him. Maybe more than I admitted. "Mom!" he called softly one night, stepping into the kitchen where I stood at the sink. I was washing a plate, not because it needed washing, but because the rhythm of it was better than facing the emptiness. Yeah, honey. I said, wiping my hands on the dish towel. He looked nervous. His blue eyes, so much like his father's, darted to the floor before locking onto mine. Can we talk about something? Of course, I replied, motioning toward the kitchen table. Sit down. He hesitated, then pulled out the chair beside mine. The overhead light cast a warm glow across his face. He had grown so much, taller than Michael had ever been, but still had that boyish vulnerability that made me want to pull him into a hug and never let go. "It's about Dad," he began, his voice thick. I reached for his hand instinctively. I miss him too, Liam. I know. That's not it though. He said, voice low. It's about us. You and me. The way he said it gave me pause. What about us? He took a deep breath and leaned in. His voice barely a whisper. I've been feeling something. And I don't think I should be. But I can't help it. You've been so strong and beautiful through everything, Mom. I find myself wanting to protect you in a way that's not just a son protecting his mother. My breath caught. A strange, electric silence passed between us. What are you saying, Liam? I don't want to make you uncomfortable, he said quickly, looking ashamed. But I see how lonely you are. Too. I miss Dad every day, but he's not coming back. And you're still young. Still beautiful. I know someone out there will see that soon. And I guess I just... He stopped, as if afraid of his own words. My heart was racing. I didn't know what stunned me more. His honesty or the raw, unfiltered emotion in his eyes. Liam, you're my son, I said softly, not knowing whether I was reminding him or myself. I know. And I'm not saying anything weird. He replied, holding my gaze. But haven't you felt it? The tension. The way we look at each other lately. I swallowed hard. I had felt it. Little moments. His hand lingering a second too long when he helped me up from the couch. The quiet glances in the hallway. The comfort of his hugs that started to feel like more than just grief. I shouldn't have said anything, he muttered, standing up quickly. Wait, I said, reaching for his arm. Sit down. He slowly lowered himself back into the chair. We've both been through so much. Losing Michael shook the ground under us. It's natural to feel closer. Maybe even confused. I reasoned, unsure if I was trying to comfort him or myself. He leaned forward again, this time placing his hand on mine. I'm not confused. I'm not saying it's right. I just need you to know. You're not alone. Not in any way. That night I didn't sleep. My mind wandered through old memories and new feelings. I missed Michael. But I also couldn't deny that Liam had grown into someone strong and thoughtful, and his presence filled the house in a way that felt comforting, even intoxicating. Days passed. We didn't bring it up again. But something had shifted. One Saturday afternoon, I walked into the living room to find Liam asleep on the couch, the sunlight casting warm shadows across his chest. His shirt had ridden up slightly, revealing a sliver of skin. I stared a moment too long. Then he stirred. "Hey," he murmured, blinking up at me. "Didn't mean to wake you," I said quickly. He sat up slowly, rubbing his eyes. You didn't. I was dreaming. About. He smiled faintly. You. My breath hitched. Liam. He stood and walked toward me. The room was silent except for the faint sound of birds outside. He was close now, too close. I could feel the warmth of his body radiating toward mine. "Tell me to stop," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Couldn't. Because I didn't want to. But before anything could happen, the doorbell rang. We both jumped, stepping apart like teenagers caught doing something forbidden. It was our neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, bringing over a lasagna. "Thought you two might be hungry," she said sweetly. The moment passed. But the feeling didn't. That night, I lay in bed thinking about what might have happened. Was I truly lonely? Or was I letting myself fall into something that couldn't ever be real? The next morning, Liam suggested we take a trip. Let's go somewhere. Just us. Get out of this house. I agreed, maybe too quickly. We drove to a cozy beach town a few hours away. It was quiet, peaceful. The inn had one of those wraparound porches and creaky wooden floors. Everything about it felt like a dream. That evening we walked along the shore. The ocean breeze tousled my hair as we walked silently side by side. At one point he stopped and turned to face me. "I know this is wrong," he said. But when I look at you, I don't see my mother. I see a woman I care about. A woman who deserves love. I looked up at him, the moonlight glinting off his eyes. "Then stop calling it wrong," I whispered. He stepped forward and held me close. His embrace was different this time. Not out of sadness, but out of something else. Longing. Desire. Understanding. We stood there in silence, waves crashing in the distance. Back at the inn, I lit a candle in the small room. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew the air had changed. The tension had evolved. We didn't speak much. Just sat close on the bed, brushing shoulders, stealing glances. Then he kissed my shoulder. It was soft, almost accidental. But it sent a shiver down my spine. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, voice low and trembling. You make me feel alive again. I turned to him slowly. I never thought I'd feel this way. Especially not now. Especially not with. With me, he finished. I nodded silently. We didn't rush into anything. But that night, under the soft sheets and flickering candlelight, we explored a closeness we never expected. Not in a way that crossed forbidden lines, but in a way that filled the hollow spaces grief had carved inside us. It was emotional, confusing, beautiful. After that night we returned home, not speaking of it at first. But everything between us was different. We cooked together, laughed more freely, even started going on walks at sunset. We weren't trying to replace anyone. We were simply trying to heal. But the world outside wasn't ready for that kind of story. So we kept it ours. Quiet. One day, Liam came home with a letter in his hand. He'd gotten accepted into a postgraduate fellowship program in Chicago. I want to go, he said. Asterisk. But I also don't want to leave you. Asterisk. You have to go, I said, smiling despite the lump in my throat. Asterisk. You have your own life, Liam. I'll be okay. Asterisk. He came closer and kissed my forehead. Asterisk. I'll come back. Not as your little boy, but as a man who knows what he wants. Asterisk. As I watched him drive away that afternoon, a strange mix of pride and longing filled me. I wasn't alone anymore. Not really. Because love had returned to my life in the most unexpected form. And even if the world wouldn't understand, I knew what I felt was real. A year later he returned. The moment I saw him walk through the front door, I knew. He pulled me into his arms and whispered the words that once shocked me, but now felt like a promise. Asterisk. I still want you. All of you. Not as your son, but as the man who knows your heart. Asterisk. And this time I didn't hesitate. Because love doesn't always follow the rules. Sometimes it finds you when you're broken. Sometimes it looks like something you never expected. But when it's real, you just know. And I knew. The months after Liam returned from Chicago were a blur of stolen moments and quiet intensity. We learned to navigate this new reality between us, careful in public but reckless in private. The fear of being discovered was always there, lurking beneath every touch, every glance. But it only made the moments we had together feel more electric. One evening, as I was cooking dinner, Liam came up behind me, his arms sliding around my waist. His lips brushed the curve of my neck, sending a shiver down my spine. I missed you today, he murmured. I turned in his arms, meeting his gaze. You saw me this morning. His smile was slow, deliberate. Still too long. The air between us crackled, but before either of us could act on it, my phone buzzed on the counter. A message from my sister, asking if I wanted to meet for coffee this weekend. Reality crashed back in. Liam sensed the shift. He stepped back, running a hand through his hair. We can't keep living like this, he said quietly. My chest tightened. What do you mean? He exhaled, his eyes dark with frustration and something deeper. I don't want to sneak around. I don't want to pretend. The weight of his words settled over me. He was right. This wasn't sustainable. But the alternative, letting the world know, was terrifying. That night, we sat on the porch under the cover of darkness, the stars stretching endlessly above us. Liam reached for my hand, his thumb tracing circles over my skin. We could leave, he said suddenly. Start over somewhere no one knows us. The idea was tempting. A fresh start, no whispers, no judgment. But it would also mean cutting ties with everything familiar. Family, friends, the life we'd built here. I squeezed his hand. Is that really what you want? He didn't hesitate. I want you. However, I can have you. The raw honesty in his voice undid me. In the end, we didn't run. We stayed. But we made rules, strict ones. No affection outside the house. No risky behavior. We became experts at hiding in plain sight, our love a secret woven into the fabric of everyday life. It wasn't perfect. There were close calls, times when a neighbor dropped by unexpectedly or a friend's comment made my heart stop. But we adapted. We learned. And through it all, one truth remained. This love, as complicated and unconventional as it was, had saved us both. The world might never understand. But for us it was enough.